We talked a little bit about the farm and working hard, but there were some challenges you had, I think, along the way that I'm going to imagine has helped shape you to who you are and to get into this level of success where you guys are at.
Yeah, I think the hardest thing for me, because I've definitely not had a life with a silver platter put in front of me. I actually many days struggle with the loss of my mom. Being an only daughter, she passed when I was in my 20s, and Scott and I had been married less than 2 months. And unfortunately, she died in a motorcycle accident with her fiance in Florida. And I was actually on call when it happened. I guess I can kind of, tell the story in this way. I was actually on call, and I was outside that day working out in our yard. And that was back in the day of pagers,
on your belt, on the side.
Yep. So I was outside, and when I came in, I didn't even have my cell phone on me because it was, again, old school cell phones. I had missed a call from my mom. She had left a voicemail saying that they had gotten to Florida. And that was the last, time I ever heard her voice, because later that evening I was on a call with a patient, and my dad was calling, but I was on the other call. So my husband took the phone call, and he told Scott, he said, "You're going to have to sit Johanna down." And he told him the news he was going to have to share. And so I got off that call, and my dad told me that she had died. And I think I just felt like my world completely collapsed, and I knew I was never going to be the same ever again. And I looked at Scott and I said that. I said, "I don't even know that you should stay married to me, because I am going to be forever different." So
wow, and that was what, 2 months, 2 weeks after you guys got married, right?
Less than 2 months, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And then within the following year, my husband's brother, who had Apert syndrome, he had developed epilepsy when he was in high school, and ended up passing away, though, at 33 from having a seizure in his sleep overnight. So within a year's time, we were just through the ringer in our marriage. And I will say the one good thing out of all of that I can say is I have the best relationship with my in-laws, because that brought us so close together in just that complete suffering, anguish. So we have an extremely good relationship.
Not everybody would get through that. Not only one of those incidents, but two.
Yeah.
What do you think it was that helped you to get through that and stay together and build this life?
We've definitely had our ups and downs, and the beginning of our marriage was a lot of downs because it was just tough. It was very tough. I had lost my world. And I think my mother-in-law, truly, we would go to her at times, and I remember specifically one time sitting in their living room, both of us just being honest, like, we don't know if we can do this. It was hard. But God loved their support, And that's probably half two of our travel, and why we can travel is because we told them, like, this is extremely important for us to have time as a married couple, and they've been supportive of that. So I'm so grateful for my in-laws.
So do they help watch the girls when the girls were younger? I know they're a little bit older now, but
did, yeah.
So that allowed you guys to be able to go out and build deeper bonds that way.
Yes, and they still actually do when we do travel, even though we have a senior in high school. They like Grandma and Grandpa to come over.
That's great, and since they're in town, in St. Louis, that makes it a lot easier. Yeah, that's having a mom myself, being a mom, I'm sure, well, maybe that's a good question. Did that change you at all as you became a mom?
Oh, when I had our first daughter, I thought, I can't believe this. Like, I just felt like, what a gift to get a daughter. And then we went on to have 2 more, and so 3 daughters in total. And I still look at that as a gift every day. I swear that is truly sent from my mom. Like, she was like, you need to have all girls. I cherish my relationships with each of my girls so much. I really do.
So with all of those losses, and I think you'd even mentioned here, a gift from God, if you could, sometimes we have these conversations, if you could go back and change things, would you?
Mm-hmm. If I could have my mom back, hell yeah.
That almost seems like I think that would have to be a softball, because as much as maybe it helped you grow and overcome and be resilient, and tell me if I'm wrong there, or add what you think it really gave you, there's
I mean, did it make me resilient? Yes. Has it brought so much empathy that I can have and connect with so many of my patients who experience loss? That's actually one of the things that I feel is what I was supposed to learn from losing my mom, and utilize that in my everyday life. I can't tell you how many times I've connected with people on that specifically. And I actually almost find myself my most comfortable when I'm with someone who's lost something or someone. It's just like I can totally get to that level of pain, and I feel comfortable there.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
You feel most comfortable with others that are in that situation.
Yeah.
Curious.
I know,
and you may not know why.
And I don't know why. And I even, as you get older, we reflect as women and who we're becoming and evolving into. And I many times these days say, I'm lacking, there's this joy and enthusiasm. I sometimes feel more reserved. And people would even say that just by looking at me, that I probably have this more reserved look to me. It's just, I don't know that I can ever experience full joy because of losing my mom, So I think that holds me back a little bit.
What do you do to try to capture that as much, or is it something that just happens and you're not aware? Because I think a lot of people, that's what we talk about in society now, not with what you experience by any means, but how do you create joy and be happy in life, and how do you fill those holes?
I think it's just when I connect with people, day to day, being here at the clubhouse, my day to day with patients at work. I do enjoy connecting with people. I'm a listener. I love listening to people. I like problem solving, whether that's travel or, physical ailments. So I think that's where I find my joy, is that fulfills my heart by helping others.